Let's keep all this simple. Shamayim. One doesn't have to go further than the word Shamayim. Can stay on that forever and understand the entire opus of Judaism and of living in general. Shamayim contains shin as esh and mayim being water. This is a conjunction of opposites. How could fire and water exist simultaneously in and at the same time? They're opposites. Water puts out fire. That's what you see in the fire hydrant, fireman. Yet heaven, which is our olam haba, as opposed to eretz, which is our olam hazeh, where water is. Water comes out of heaven, but fire and water exist at the same time. And they call that heaven. And that's the whole point, the conjunction of opposites, and that's what Shamayim is. The concept of Shamayim here being Shin, Mem, Yud, Mem. Now I'm going to do the full gematria of this. Shin is 360. Mem is 80. That's 440. Yud is 20. That's 460. And Mem is 80. That's 540. Now that's the conjunction of Esh and Mayim, but there's no Aleph there. So what we do is 540, by the way, is the gematria one less than Yisrael. So Shamayim plus 1 is 541. That's Yisrael. So there's a parallel conjunction between the word Shamayim and Yisrael. Could that be Eretz Yisrael or the people Yisrael? It's always both. So let me add here a synthetic Aleph that's not in the word. And this coordinates the Esh Mayim. And that adds the 1. And this is also how in the Song of Songs, when it says every verse is an Aleph and a Hey, when it says Shia HaShirim, there's no Aleph showing, but the Aleph is there. And it's the same thing here with Shamayim. There's no Aleph showing to make Esh, fire, but the Aleph is there. And not only that, I'll show you some other thing. Now we can leave the Aleph off for a second. The Shin is on top as fire, and the Mayim is below as water. And in like an Aikido video I did, and some of these metaphysical, not that I did, but I saw, and in the metaphysical things, they make a pole out of it. The fire on top the water on the bottom. And what does that do when the fire is on the water? It makes steam. And that steam is in the middle. So let me just draw a little pole here. I'll do a final mem there so it's easier to see. That steam in the middle, steam is air. So it's fire on top, water on the bottom, it creates air in the middle. These are the three mother letters, by the way. Now in Aikido, they make a horizontal line through there. And that's the way movement goes. That's considered the core. So it's actually like it's the core. The fire on top, that's the shin of the tefillin there. The mayim, which could be yesod, or quite frankly, it could also be the ground where the water is. And the core as the belly button or the hara point or the core, which everybody knows. And that core is steam. And when you get this idea of a lengthening up and a stretching down and a core in the middle between these two extremes, see? And that's how you get the steam and you get the energy in this core. This is a circular magnetic type field energy, which is a sapphira, sphere. That's like the hara point. Now this energy, this gematria of Shamayim, plus one aleph, which is the aleph, the hidden aleph of Mayim, which is the conjunction of opposites as Yisrael. So I took another liberty, and this is 541. And remember, this is Shamayim, and then there's Eretz. This is again found in the first verse of the Torah. You know, Bereshis bara Elohim et Shamayim ve'et Eretz. So we're just taking Shamayim and Eretz, not the Hashamayim and the Ve'et Hashamayim. And we add Eretz now, 541 now with the Shamayim, and Eretz is 291. Excuse me, we just do the Shamayim now. Forget the Eretz, the Shamayim. Shamayim, Shin Mem Yud Mem. It's 540 in full, and we take the Eretz as its regular. Eretz is 291 regular. It's Aleph, Resh, Zede, final Zede 90. So it's 291. So it's 540 and 291. That's 831. 831 is the full spelling of the word Aleph. Aleph Lamed Pei. That's Aleph. It's 831. Final pay is 800. So it's Aleph 1, Lamed 30, final pay 800. That's 831. So that's the gematria and a meditative state of Shamayim in full and Eretz in regular gives Aleph itself, which could be in the middle there as the core. And once you get this, now, this core is a steamed core, like a steamed apple. And steam comes out of that core. And that's how one gets tumo, how one generates their own body heat. They do it from the internal fire against the internal water. And that gives steam at the core. And that's Aleph that goes into the Shamayim, but also the Aleph at the core. There's a beautiful little meditation here. I woke up at 3:08 this morning, and I was warm rather than cold. For some reason, I'm like warm. It's early in the morning here. I got up to do the video. I'm warm. I think I'm warm because I have a new soul. The soul that comes in at night. So in the morning, I'm warm. And then as the day progresses, this soul is dying on me. And at night, like last night, I went out for a walk after dinner. And I was freezing. My body was so cold. My internal temperatures were cold. I couldn't walk around the block. And I went to bed. I was cold. Cold at night in bed. And then all of a sudden at 3 o'clock I woke up and I was warm. So this is a internal heat generated body heat, a tumo. And the way to get this is to recognize the there's a I think they call it the floating bridge between heaven and earth. That's what you are. Heaven up there and earth down there, and the Aleph in between. And also the steam to generate from the fire above and the water below. And well, that's what heaven is. And that's also what heaven on earth is. So this is all in the concept. That's why one shouldn't get too deep into a lot of things, It's all evident in the first line of the Torah. See? Bereshis, created 6. This is a 6 funnel that comes into Yesod. Bara, the Bria world, created 6. The Anpin, basically the Yetzirah world. And those 6, those are the 6 days, they funnel into Friday. And all these Hesed, Gevurah, Teferet, Netzach, Hod funnel in to Yesod. Remember, Yesod is the culmination of these 5 dinim. So they really stop at Hod Shebahod. It really stops at Hod after 5. But they funnel into the 6th, which is no different than the letter Hey. 5 with an Aleph. And this Aleph is at Yesod here. And they funnel in. And then that's the week it funnels in to Yesod. And then on Shabbos, that Yesod goes into Malkus, which is the feminine, which is now I like to think of as the vagina. So really the male aspects end, Have you ever seen the tree where they end at Yesod? Where there's no Malchus on the tree, but there's a Da'as instead. And that circular tree, there's no, let's see if I do a little one here. Yeah. Then it becomes like this, like this. Circular tree down there. That's actually the circular tree where Das takes the place of Malchus, and all the energy is kept within. See? Where there's no energy expulsion outside into the feminine, so to speak. So in a certain sense, this is the ultimate masculine tree, where Da'as takes the place of Malchus. See? And the energy circles within you. It's another way to generate body heat by not disseminating the sperm, but to bring it back in. And so when this comes back in, when this energy comes back in, that it goes into Yesod and back up. And quite frankly, that's what the great secret of the locked hair is, or the brahmachari, the nazir. It becomes circular, and there are 3 lines. There are still 3 lines, but the lines are part of the curve there. And there's a center line down the middle. As you can see, there are 4 sephirot there. It's, when they say that Keter and Das can't appear in it can't appear in the same tree. See, it's a myth. It can appear in the same tree when there's no Malchus. When Malchus comes up to Das and gets integrated into Das. See? So that's actually a circular methodology. It doesn't have to be circular either, but it is. It's an egg shape. So one doesn't have to go too far. One doesn't have to go further than the first line. That's the Bereshis. Bereshis bara. Again, in the Bria world. We're in the Bria world, which is the same world as the Shema. And the 6 that we Bereshis are the 6 words of the Shema. And they are the 6 cities of refuge. And they're the 6 of anything, which is 5 and 1. It's the letter Hey. So basically, everything that's created revolves around the letter Hey, with a 5 and 1, and Pesach with the Ha, or Ha. Hey, Aleph. So if you know just the letter Hey, just the first word of the Haggadah, you got everything. In case you have a Pesach meal and you sit around talking, you can start talking about this. See? Because the letter Hey is Hey, Aleph in full. That becomes Hey is 6, and Aleph is 111. That's 117, and that's the number of verses in the Song of Songs. So there's a direct relationship between the Passover Haggadah and the Shir HaSharim. You know. Anyway, simple, isn't it? Doesn't have to be more complicated. You don't need more than this, do you? To generate body heat, to know that the tree of life isn't like you know it. Do you think they would really show you the tree? That's the funny part.